Hey everybody, welcome back to microbeerreviews.com, and we've got one of our canned beers here that we've been saving to review because I wanted to make sure that I got this one right. And I'll tell you why. One of the guys that I trade beers with will buy cases of this beer at one of our local beer stores when it comes in. He absolutely loves it. And he will keep it until, he'll buy it in the fall and keep it all the way through next summer during boating season because this is what he wants to drink on his boat. He likes pale ales just like I do, likes hoppy beers, but I never really got it. I never really understood why he was anxiously awaiting its arrival. But I get it now. This is a good one. It's called Euphoria Pale Ale. It's by the Ska Brewing Company. And Ska Brewing Company brews a lot of beers in cans. They were one of the first to do it. And before I tell you about the beer, I want to tell you about the can because it says, for example, it says handcrafted in the mighty San Juans. And at the top, they talk about, it says, Daffy, hibernate, curl, recycle, skin up, fatty, lut, skeleton, recycle, fish, check, recycle. Ska Brewing Company is all about being outside, being in the mountains, being aware of your environment. They just do a lot of really cool marketing tips and things like that. Also on here, not only is the Ska Brewing website on here, but there's also Venture snowboards on here as well. And you can kind of see how the skeleton is, you know, on the background of the mountain kind of shredding. It's really cool. I mean, I like when companies work together. I love marketing. I think marketing is so important these days because you've got to have a reason for someone to buy your product over somebody else's. And I think Ska Brewing does a really good job of that. Talk about the environment. They bottle or can most of their beers, not bottle. They can most of their beers, which is obviously better for the environment. But anyway, what's most important is what's inside, and that would be this. This pale ale. It's described as an American pale ale. If you look at it, the color is exactly what a pale ale looks like. A little bit more on the caramely side than some other pale ales, but it's got a nice head to it. It definitely, you know, circulates the glass, sticks around for a while, kind of hangs on the edge of the glass pretty well. Good carbonation, smells awesome. This beer, it smells like hops. It smells citrusy. It's got a little bit of grassy, grainy flavor or aroma to it and flavor, but it's got a real complex smell to it. It doesn't have anything that's overly hoppy or overly citrusy. It's got a real good blend. This is a really, really good beer. Anyway, so when you first pour this beer, and I want to say one more thing. A lot of people I know that like this beer will drink this beer straight out of the can. When you pour this beer, it's not a lot of the. It's just this little teeny pop, and it pours real nice into the glass. And like I said, you know, there's not a ton of bubbles coming up, but it still tastes extremely well right after the pour. So when you drink it, you're going to kind of definitely have that nice hoppy flavor to it. What a lot of people will say about this is that it's a really good pale ale. And they'll even say that if you like hoppy beers, that it's one of those that you'll kind of go back to a lot. It might not be like the story I told you at the beginning of the video that, you know, you go and buy like, you know, 10 cases at a time. But it's one of those beers that if you like a hoppy beer, it's got enough of the citrus and the grassy flavors and, of course, the hops that it is different enough than your other traditional straight-up hoppy beers. So, alcohol content is 6.1%. And I've seen this in the 6-packs like this. At our local beer store, you can actually get this in the little kegs as well, which I think is pretty cool. And then the other thing that people will talk about is that it's very smooth. They'll say it kind of has that medium body of a pale ale, so it's not too thick, not too thin, but it's just very easy to drink. Hence why someone would buy 8 to 10 cases at a time, store them for the summer, and drink them out on the boat because they'd rather have that than Miller Lite. Anyway, this beer does a lot of things really well. It's easy to drink. It's got a nice mix of complex flavors. It's got phenomenal marketing, comes from a great brewing company, and I think a lot of people will like this beer. A 6-pack of this in cans is almost $12. It's not cheap, but I think it's worth it. I think when you look at it, you drink it, you have another one, you kind of want to go back to the refrigerator next day or a week later and go, I'm going to have another one of those. It's kind of one of those beers that grows on you if you like hoppy beers, and ranks higher the more often you have it over other hoppy beers or pale ales, because it just does a lot of things that I think the general masses will like a lot. So I recommend this beer a lot. I give it a 4.5. I probably would even give it a 5, because on the what I would call, like I just said, like on the global scale, so many people will say, thank you. I'm glad I learned about that beer. I'm glad I found it. I'm glad I bought it. And it was definitely worth the money. So check out Euphoria Pale Ale from Ska Brewing Company. This is an awesome, awesome beer if you like pale ales and hoppy beers. If you've tried it, leave us a comment, please, on our YouTube channel or our website. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click like if you like us. If you don't, let us know why. But check out microbeerreviews.com. Got a lot of great beers coming out. See you soon.